been following now for several weeks the plight of three young friends who've been stuck in an Italian quarantine detention centre against their will for nearly 2 months.
Yes, Quinn, Will and Reese have described the conditions they're living in as worse than prison. They're in separate rooms, as we know, in Florence, because they are not allowed to mix. Quinn Pachesney, Will Castle and Reese James, and we're also joined from the UK by their parents, Mark and Anne Pachesney, Nick and Jim Castle, and Sharon James. Very good morning to you all. Quinn, this is now your 8th week in isolation, and, you know, it's like you're in a kind of imprisonment, isn't it, because of this darn positive test recurring?
Yeah, it's so frustrating to still be here, sort of beginning the 8th week of self-isolation, having, you know, not sort of seen anyone or interacted with any of the boys or anything, or just like any socialisation in general, to be honest. So yeah, it does feel very sort of frustrating, and I think we're all like at the point where we're just ready to come home now, and we're fed up of being in this situation.
I'd imagine you were like that after about
positive.
Probably like that after a couple of weeks, never mind 2 months. Will, we've got all your parents here this morning. And you haven't seen them in 2 months, have you, face to face? And you've once again tested positive. As things stand, have you got any indication of when you may be able to come home and see your parents again?
No, not at all. We're still entirely reliant, essentially, on the tests. I mean, we did have some positive news yesterday when we had our health check, and we were given a more sort of thorough check where we had our blood pressure and stuff taken, and we were told that this is being sent to an infectious disease specialist, and that the embassy has requested this for a second opinion. So hopefully that means something extra is going on, but other than that, we haven't had anything.
I mean, obviously, Reese, you don't want to leave if you're still infectious. You would, I know you're all responsible young citizens, you understand that if you were genuinely infectious, then clearly there's an issue. But it seems highly unlikely that you're still infectious after 2 months, doesn't it?
I mean, this is the main thing. Like, we really do respect the Italian rules, the Italian authorities. However, we've been told by top healthcare professionals in the UK, by GPs around the world, by the doctors that literally visit our room here, that we're no longer contagious, that it is probably dead cells. And even the doctors here don't agree with it. But the rules in Italy are that you need 2 negative tests to leave. So we just have to follow that for now.
Let's just talk to your mum, Sharon, and the other parents as well. Sharon, it must be so frustrating for you that your son cannot leave and come home, but also, I mean, I can imagine it's probably making you a little bit worried that, you know, they're all on their own in isolation, can't even socialise with each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. It's frustrating home year because, I mean, the amount of phone calls we try to make or whatever, we get cut off by the Wi-Fi. The calls we've made to the embassy, you know, they can't help that, or, you know, nobody seems to be able to help as much as us. It just seems that we keep hitting this brick wall, and it just seems, you know, okay, if that's the Italian law, that's absolutely fine. We agree with it. But 2 negatives, you know, it's just hard to think about that all the time and just keep waiting every Monday, which is then Tuesday for a result, or even Wednesday. And by then, that's like another half a week gone.
Let's go to Nikki and Jim. Nikki, I know you've been struggling to sleep at night. I mean, it's very worrying for any parent, this. It's worrying for your kids. It's not good for any kid to be trapped like this in the way that they are. But as Will's mum, how are you coping with this?
Well, I think you just have to put on your professional face, really. But inside, obviously, your heart is weeping. But then for the boys, it must be 20 times worse because they're stuck and they don't know when they're going to get out. I think that's the worst thing, is that there don't seem to be any solutions, and we're just sort of stuck in limbo, and they're stuck where they are in, you know, sort of inadequate conditions.
Yeah, I mean, Jim, what official routes have you tried to access to try and speed things up here?
Yeah, so we've the boys and all the parents have been contacting different people from the consulate or the Foreign Office. We're trying to get hold of people to help out. The 3 MPs are now on board. I have to say that our MP, Jeremy Quinn, has in the last week or so been very good at trying to get hold of the Foreign Office in England to contact the Italian government to see if they can change the law for these boys, because the law apparently at the moment is they cannot leave without having 2 negative tests.
Well, Mark and Anne Pachesny, Gwyn's parents, I mean, every time they have a test result coming through, you must be on the edge of your seats, hoping that it will be negative. You have to wait for that twice. You haven't even had one yet. I mean, every single time must be a blow, knowing that he's not coming back.
It's very upsetting, waiting week after week, and the results are always the same. It's Anne's finding it hard to deal with, as is myself, and I'm beginning to worry about the mental health issues for the lads. Every week, I think you can see the cracks appearing now, that they're struggling. They need to stay strong. It's all about them now. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about it anymore.
And Anne, how do you stay strong for Quinn?
Can't really answer that. I don't know. I haven't got any words. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
I can understand. It's
well, it's an incredibly difficult situation, this. I mean, Quinn, you know, that's your mum and dad. You can see the effect this is having on them, but as they all rightly say, the effect on you guys as the weeks go on and continue is really bad. I mean, it's beginning to really affect you all, isn't it?
Yeah, as my dad said, for all of us, the cracks are definitely starting to show with our mental health. We're all struggling a lot. We all try to put on this brave face, especially to the media, but there's a point where it's difficult to sort of put on that facade and brave face now, really.
It's so hard.
Well, let me try and bring a little ray of sunshine to you, if I can. I can't remember, what football teams do you all support?
West Ham.
West Ham, well, you had a brilliant... All right, so West Ham, somehow, out of nowhere, stuffed Leicester 3-0. And Leicester had just thrashed Man City. So, good news for you. What about the other two?
What about you, Quinn?
No, football isn't really my thing, I'm not going to lie.
What's keeping your spirits up,
If
then,
football's
Quinn?
not your thing, you're probably a Palace fan, then, because they got stuffed 4-0.
That's not going to improve anyone's mood.
We lost Reece.
Yeah.
Do we know if Reece supports the football team?
I'm
knows,
not too sure. I don't think he does.
No? Reece's mum, do you know if he supports the football team?
I don't think so, no.
Because we were hoping we might have had a Liverpool or Man United fan amongst their midst.
No.
We're trying to, you know, what I'm trying... Oh, Reece, do you support Man United or Liverpool by any chance? Oh, he's frozen again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to lift the mood, really, for anyone who revelled in yesterday's football, but it's actually... it's a serious situation. What we can tell you all is that we have a team on the ground now in Italy from Good Morning Britain, and we are doing absolutely everything in our power with the health authorities, with the government there, with the local government, with everybody, to try and get you guys out of this hell, because that's what it's become. And we just wanted to let you know that we are at this 24/7, and we're getting some positive noises back from them. We don't want to sell that at this stage, but we are on this with a team on the ground, and we are trying to get you out. So, try and keep the faith, keep your spirits up. Which one of you asked for the hair gel, by the way?
I think it was the conditioner.
Come on, one of you. I mean, really? Really? That was your priority after moaning to us for weeks about the quality of the food? One of you, rather than ask for proper nutritious food, two of you asked for hair gel and conditioner?
Oh, come on. They've been in prison for 2 months. Allow them to have their coconut oil conditioner.
You know what it is? Literally, your vanity of appearing on these shows has overcome you so much you'd rather have hair gel than food. That's why I know your minds are slowly being lost here. Look, while we've got you all with your parents, do you want to speak to your parents? Quinn, why don't you go first and speak to your mum and dad?
Yeah, hey, mum and dad. I don't really know what I would say other than sort of what we don't say over a phone call every day. But love you lots, and like thank you for keeping us all strong and doing what you can. The same to everybody else's parents as well. You've all been amazing in helping us and just keeping in contact with us all and checking in. So we all appreciate that so much.
Mark and Anne, what would you like to say to your son?
I'd want to say I love you very, very much. And I just can't wait to put my arms around you. I just can't wait for you to be here.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd just like to say to you, thank you for everything. Good morning, Britain. Thank you for everything.
Well, we're not going to rest until we get action here. Obviously, we don't want to, interfere with public health in Italy. If there's a genuine risk that you're infectious or contagious, that's clearly a separate situation. But it appears to anyone that we've been speaking to that is highly, highly unlikely, and we need to establish that you're not so you can get out of there. Yeah. Will, what do you want to say to your mum and dad?
I mean, have a good day at work. And,
Very British of you, Will.
So obviously, I want to say that I miss them a lot. I'm like, and yeah, hopefully we'll be back together soon, and like I'll be able to have some proper food made for me rather than what I'm having at the moment.
Who's the better cook, your mum or dad? Whose food are you missing most?
I'm not starting that war. You can start it, Piers, but I'm not.
Well, that has started a war, hasn't it? Come on, Nikki and Jim. Who's the better cook? Whose food do you think he's missing?
I've got to say Nikki, obviously. But if he was missing my food, then he really is struggling.
What would you like to say to your son? That's the food. It looks like a slop there.
The food they're having to eat is repulsive.
Nikki and Jim, what would you like to say to Will? Apart from about food,
I think he's been amazing. I don't think I think all the boys have been amazing. I think most people would not have coped at all in this situation, and they've just been fantastic. And I think that's what's kept us going as parents. That you've kept going. So thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That you've shown remarkable spirit. And finally, to you, Reece, what do you want to say to your mum?
Hi, Mum. I know that Dad was too scared to come on TV, so say hi to him and say hi to Ella. I know you're behind the camera as well. Yeah, I really miss you. Sorry about the dodgy connection as well, but I love you and I can't wait to be back in Wales with you all and have a nice year.
And Sharon, what do you want to say to your boy?
Just basically, we're used to him being away because he generally works abroad, and he's just finished his 4 years in uni, so we're used to him actually being away. But I'd just like to say to him, hurry up and get back and finish the garden that he started before he went. That was no,
I'll wait on it.
Dad's actually out on call at the moment, so he as well as being nervous, he missed it anyway because he is out on call. Ella does say hi. She is over there. So hi from Ella.
From behind the camera.
Well, it's great that we've been able to connect you guys. I know, obviously, you talk, but it's nice to do it so that our viewers can see that. So I think we've had such a huge reaction from our viewers. I've got to say, they've been following this story now week after week. And everyone's, just gutted for you and just praying that you get this test result you need, or that we at Good Morning Britain are somehow able to get you
from imprisonment.
The clearance in terms of not being contagious that you also need so that you can get out of there and get back to your families. But for now, guys, thank you very much indeed. Keep your spirits up.
Yep.
And however bad you're feeling, just imagine being a Liverpool or Man United fan this morning. And trust me, they are feeling worse. So there's always a silver lining somewhere amid these clouds.